Hi, I'm Michelle, Director of Educational Content and Programs at Shape America. And if you want to learn more about health and physical education, you are going to love Toy Talk Tuesdays. And I'm not talking about these kinds of toys. I'm talking about Teachers of the Year. Shape America Teachers of the Year represent the best adapted physical education, dance, health, and physical education teachers in the United States, and you get to hear directly from them. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and be sure to comment below with the tips and resources you want to hear about most. If you're interested in learning about how to become a Shape America Teacher of the Year, just make sure to click the link right here below. Thanks so much for watching.
Hello and welcome to Toy Talk Tuesday. My name is Julie Frank and I'm the Executive Director at Spark. I'm delighted to serve as today's host. Toy Talk Tuesday is a bi-weekly series of interviews about topics in health and physical education with Shape America's National and District Teachers of the Year. I'm excited to be back today with Amber, LaDonda, and Dan for them to share lessons learned since the start of school regarding key standards to focus on during hybrid or remote learning experiences. I will give them each an opportunity to briefly introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, I'm Amber McLane. I'm 2020 Eastern District Middle School Physical Education Teacher of the Year. I work at Guilford Middle School in Guilford, New Hampshire.
Hello, I'm LaDonda Porter. I'm the 2020 Southern District Middle School PE Teacher of the Year, and I currently teach at Beaumont Middle School in Lexington, Kentucky.
And I'm Dan Tennessen. I am the 2020 Midwest Middle School PE Teacher of the Year, and I teach at Super School, which is located in Indianapolis, Indiana.
As members of the Shape America Teacher of the Year community, you have a unique platform to share your expertise, talents, and leadership with health and physical education teachers across the country. We are so proud of your accomplishments and appreciate you participating today. I'll now turn the program over to Amber to kick us off.
In August, our Toy Talk focused on Standard 4. I mentioned how this standard is important when entering a new teaching year. The first 2 or 3 weeks should be dedicated to creating and fostering classroom norms, expectation while teaching students to be respectful, responsible, resourceful, and confident in the physical education setting. My students will learn to respect themselves and others by developing lifelong skills that can be used on a daily basis inside and outside the gymnasium wall. I want my students to be proud of themselves by providing them with a positive and safe environment so they can learn and grow. As we entered this new school year during our COVID pandemic, I had a tremendous amount of stress and questions regarding the unknown. The first half of the year was developing routines for both in-person and remote learning. I learned that flexibility was key when developing and implementing lesson plans. Through this difficult time, my students continued to impress me with their resilience and their dedication. My students were just excited to be in school and moving and being active while adhering to the New Hampshire state safety guidelines. During this year, I have taught in person, remote, and Zoomed into my classroom. I have personally had some ups and downs to this year. However, I've learned so much about myself as a teacher. This year has pushed me to be a more creative, providing authentic, innovative instructions in person and virtually. As we enter into the second half of this school year, my students know our classroom routine, and they work daily exhibiting responsible personal and social behaviors, while in person and remote. As we all know, middle school students can make mistakes and are sometimes unkind to one another. However, I look at these situations as a teaching opportunity to remind students about the value of Standard 4, which should be continually practiced throughout the entire school year. Thank you to the Toy Talk opportunity, and I wish everyone a safe and healthy second half of their school year. And now for LaDonda.
Excellent. Well, when we first did this Toy Talk, I said that my main focus was going to be on standards 3, 4, and 5. And I knew going in that I planned on addressing SEL as my opening for the semester. And so as I reflected back before we began this part 2, I realized I pretty much stuck to my plan. So what I planned on doing, I actually followed through. So I did begin my first and my second semester with SEL, making sure that I hit standard 4, exhibiting that personal and social behavior and showing respect to themselves and others as well, even though we were remote, and we've been remote the entire time. It actually helped set the tone for my class for both of the semesters. We really spent a lot of time discussing how to be nice to one another, learning to accept each other's differences, how to deal with our emotions, which is huge, especially with everything that's going on in our nation at this time. And I do remember having some feedback from parents when they overheard some of these SEL lessons that we were doing, and they were very appreciative and thankful that we were having these conversations in physical education. And after we finished up that SEL unit, I knew I was going to move into focusing on standard 3, which is the knowledge and skills to achieve and maintain health enhancing levels of physical fitness. And it really allowed me to spend time really hitting those components of fitness, which I never really have time when we're face to face, because we're often doing a lot of things in standards 1 and 2. I still follow my normal 4-part lesson as if the kids were in school with me. So they're already learning a routine before we actually return back face to face, which is really, really soon. So we still did an intro activity. We still do a fitness focus. We still do the lesson, the whole meat and potatoes of the lesson, which is the focus of our unit. And we always follow up with a mindful minute. So I hope when the students come face to face, they can easily transfer what we do virtually into a face-to-face setting. But the great thing about hitting standard 3 during this time, we really got to investigate those components a lot deeper than what we would do face-to-face, because we really don't have the time. I didn't have the equipment. So my creativity was through the roof when it came to coming up with ideas for standard 3. And it also allowed my students to show me what they've learned, because we got to do a lot of performance-based assessments, which was really, really cool for those students to show me how they can shine with the creativity that they came up with on the flip side. So that's pretty much what I took away for the first couple of semesters being virtual. And I hope that I can still keep that train going when we get face-to-face here in the next few weeks. Over to you, Dan.
Thank you, LaDonda. I think LaDonda and Amber kind of summed up my thoughts and experiences as well. I've kind of flip-flopped. I've been remote, and then I've been in-person hybrid, where I've got students in front of me, but I've also got an iPad where I've got students that I have to teach, and they're at home, and I'm teaching them live synchronously as well. And so I definitely started off with those behavioral standards, standards 4 and 5, the social responsibility, the challenge, and appreciating physical activity, because I think those things are just super, super important. But we came back, and the kids were just so excited to be back that I felt like it was an easier road than I had ever had before. Like, the kids just seemed to appreciate being back a lot more than they even normally did during a normal school year. So I felt like that honeymoon period that's only like 2 weeks lasted about a month. It was just a lot longer and a lot more enjoyable time. But one of the things that I noticed was that my students came back after being off for 7 or 8 months. My students came back in not the best of healthy situations, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and socially. So as the year has gone by, I've really switched over, and much like LaDonda said, trying to kind of change my focus to standard 3 in terms of how can we be physically active at home? What are some ways we can be physically active at home, at school? What are some tools that we have available to us? How can we set goals and things like that? And I've just really, the key lesson that I've learned through all of this, is definitely focusing on student needs. And much like LaDonda said, taking a deeper dive into things. And, I'm not able to do as much as I was able to do in the past in terms of covering all these different skills and all these different concepts and strategies and applications. But we can spend a few more weeks on this because, well, maybe I can't get out this piece of equipment because I can't keep it sanitized or something like that. So I'll spend a few more weeks on that piece of equipment or on that content or something else like that. And that has really, really helped the kids understand the content a whole lot better. I've been able to make connections, deeper connections, and more meaningful connections, and they can start to articulate how they can do these things at home. And so that's been the big takeaway for me, is that if you lean into this and embrace this journey and don't focus so much on the destination and don't focus so much on, man, I can't wait till we get back to doing it like we did before, that much like LaDonda said, your creativity is going to go through the roof, and the dives that you go into are going to be a whole lot deeper And the relationships that you're going to be able to build because you've got smaller classes are going to be that much more impactful. And not just that, as an advocacy piece, because I've got those kids on the iPad and I'm zooming, into their homes, a lot of times their parents are in the same room with them. So I get a chance to interact with those parents. Those parents get a chance to see me doing what I do and seeing me doing what I love to do. And I don't know how many parents have said, hey, Mr. Tennessen, can you stick around for a few minutes? And then they want to talk to me like, now I see why my son or now I see why my daughter always talks about you and I just want to thank you and everything like that. So if we lean into this, that's the big takeaway for me. If we lean into this, we have a much better chance for advocacy. We have a much better chance to develop our skill set and a much better chance to develop our content knowledge and take things to a much deeper level.
Well, on behalf of Shape America and the Shape America Teacher of the Year Partner Network, thank you, Amber, LaDonda, and Dan for sharing these lessons learned and your reflections since back to school. Be sure to visit www.shapeamerica.org to check out our bi-weekly Toy Talk Tuesday segments for more great resources from our Shape America Teacher of the Year community. Watch at Shape_America, at SparkPhysEd, at Gopher Sport, at WellTrain_CO, and at GW Publisher to share ideas for future Toy Talk Tuesday segments and topics. And as always, any questions you may have for our Shape America Teachers of the Year. Have an active and healthy day.